Hi there, my name's Tyler Roicki, and this is Texas Homes. When it comes to selling real estate, there are 4 massive mistakes that I see realtors making time and time again. And in this video, I'm going to share with you what those mistakes are, as well as some tips on how you can avoid making them. So whether you're a homeowner looking to hire the right real estate agent to get the job done right for you the first time, or if you're a newer real estate agent learning how to do the job right, this video is for you. So with that in mind, let's dive into the 4 mistakes that realtors commonly make time and time again when it comes time to sell a house. Mistake number 1, listing a house that isn't decluttered, presentable, and clean. Now you want to put yourself in the position of a buyer. They're going to be touring a variety of homes, and the last thing you'll want to do is give them an eyesore to catch their attention when they're browsing your listing or your house. So this means get rid of all the moving boxes, have them organized somewhere and out of the way, ideally in the garage if you need a place to put them. Make sure that there aren't any walls that have an eyesore of a touch-up that's necessary. If you need to address the paint, have a fresh coat of paint put on the wall. Make sure that there's no marks anywhere, no damage in sight. You'll want that addressed before you put the house on the market. And lastly, have the house professionally cleaned. At least make it cleaned up to the point where, as if you were having guests over, you're ready to have them over. You're not embarrassed by how dirty it is. It should be tip-top clean, because some of the houses that you're more likely up against are going to be newer houses. They're going to be houses that were just professionally cleaned. So the last thing you want is to lose the interest of a prospective buyer that may have otherwise liked your house, but it didn't make them feel right because it wasn't clean enough. So make sure the house is decluttered, presentable, and clean. Mistake number 2, not having the house professionally staged. And by that, I mean using a professional home stager or virtually staging the home. And so if the house is already furnished, you'll want to have a professional stager hired. That's someone who is going to come in and spend 1 to 2 hours with the seller, going through the house, seeing what furniture we have to work with, and best organizing it to make the house look as appealing as possible visually when a buyer walks in the door. It's like what they do with model houses. It's very strategic. They don't just throw a couple chairs in. They put furniture, they arrange it, and make it feel very inviting and warm feeling. And that's exactly what a stager is going to maximize when you bring him in for a consultation. And a great stager, if you already have a fully furnished house, is going to make best use of the existing furniture rather than swapping it out for a bunch of new stuff. So that's the point of having that consultation, so that the homeowner knows how to best prepare the home for the market beyond what we already covered in number 1. And now if the house is vacant, you can have the home virtually staged. The main living areas, the large living spaces, you can have furniture put in there with a great virtual staging company, and it's going to look real. If you're browsing the photos, you're not even going to be able to tell. Most people will not be able to tell that it's furniture that was added to the photo because it's that high quality. And so you want to do that because it helps buyers better see how the space is utilized. It makes it easier to imagine what that space is used for. And this is great for the large living spaces. But bottom line is, if you don't have the house staged, it's not going to look as visually appealing to buyers as online. They're going to have a harder time seeing how the room is utilized, how the space is utilized. And also when they walk in the door, if it does have real furniture, it's not going to look as visually appealing as it possibly could. So it's very important that you do either of those things, depending on if the house is already furnished or vacant. Because if you don't, you will get beat out by the house that is professionally staged every single time. And you don't want to be number 2. You want to be number 1 in terms of the best looking listing on the market. You want to be a contender for that number 1 spot at the very least. Mistake number 3 is not using a professional real estate photographer. And this is so crucial, and it blows my mind how many listing agents miss the mark on this. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know if they're just trying to save $200 or $300. I don't know if they just have gotten stagnant in their business and, not really ask the question of, who's really the most qualified to do their photos for them. But it's very important that you use a top-notch real estate photographer. That's someone who is literally among the best specialists in real estate photographies in your market. There's a lot of photographers out there. Not all of them are equipped to do real estate photography. It takes the right lens, it takes the right equipment, it takes the right eye for where to take the angle to really show the best space of the room. And a great photographer can make the house look outstanding, especially if you do those first two things right. And that's how you really get an edge on any other listing in the market. You only have a split second to capture a buyer's attention online. They're browsing a lot of houses. We have the attention span, like unbelievably short now, especially since everyone spends so much time on social media. So someone's browsing new listings on Realtor.com or wherever they're looking, you're not gonna have very long to capture their attention. If you miss it because the first photo is just not high quality and it looks dim and dull and the house doesn't look inviting, but they didn't even get to see what the rest of it looks like, you totally lost that opportunity. So the better the pictures look, the more you're going to capture the attention of prospective buyers. The more prospective buyers you capture the attention of, because the photography is great, the presentation is great online with everything else you've done right thus far, you're going to maximize the showings you get. Bottom line. So it's essential that you pay the price and get professional photography. This is not an area that you want to skimp on, because you will absolutely pay for it if you don't, by losing the attention of some of the buyers that you could have potentially gotten in the door, and perhaps another offer that would have resulted in a great result. So hire a professional photographer and hire a home stager. And the fourth and final mistake that I'm going to talk about today that realtors commonly make when selling a house is misguiding the seller on pricing. And this is truly unfortunate, because realtors do not determine the prices of houses, nor do the sellers. Yes, the seller can ask whatever they want to ask, but at the end of the day, the market determines the pricing, right? The market is where the sellers meet the buyers. It's the price that, that intersection occurs at, and you can figure that out by looking at comparable sales. You're looking at information of the houses that have sold most recently, that are most like in kind and area to the subject property. So from what I've seen, not every real estate agent, for whatever reason, learns to do comps the same way. You would think that if you're a licensed real estate agent, this is something you would have learned in your licensing process, but that is actually not the case. For the most part, licensing, in order to become a licensed real estate agent, you have to demonstrate your understanding of a lot of the legal aspects of transacting real estate. So it's almost like a real estate law course in a lot of different markets, especially around the United States. So just because you have your license does not mean that that individual knows how to run comps. That's additional training that would come after the licensing process. And some agents do not take that additional training as seriously as they should. Some agents are not as committed to continuing their education post-licensing, especially in ways that are not an actual requirement of the license. So as a result, a lot of the times, knowing how to run comparable sales analysis falls more on the brokers, and every brokerage has a different training curriculum, different people doing the training, and as a result, not all real estate agents learn how to do it the same way. And I say that because I've literally seen a so-called comparable market analysis that I asked a listing agent one time to send me her comps because I wasn't seeing how she was arriving to the sales price she was trying to get for her sellers. And I was like, what am I missing? Send me your comp report. I want to see your comps. She sent it to me. She literally pulled 50 properties that were closest in proximity to the subject property, regardless of the square footage. There was properties all the way from like 1,800 square feet on the report to almost 5,000 square feet. and she was using this in the comp data, and the sales price she came up with was literally the median of everything on the report. And I was like, that's crazy to me. So you have a seller being advised on how to price their house, which is a certain square footage, when they're factoring in square footages across the spectrum that are not even applicable to the subject property. So bottom line is, not every agent is properly guiding the sellers in terms of the sales price. And really, like I said, you've got to know where the market is. You've also got to know, is the market on the up and up? Is inventory high or low? A great real estate agent will be able to show you this data so that you can make the best decision on where to price your house at a price point where the market responds, where you will find that buyer, also considering the activity currently in your market area. So that's number 4, is make sure you're looking at the facts and data to properly price the property in question. So those are the 4 mistakes that realtors commonly make when selling a house and how to avoid them. So in summary, how do you avoid these mistakes? Well, number 1, make sure that the property is decluttered, presentable, and clean before you stick it on the market. Number 2, use a professional home stager, or if the house is vacant, have some virtual staging done. Number 3, use a professional real estate photographer. Pay that extra money and get the photos done right by someone who shoots houses day in, day out, every single day, and does it well. Number 4 is price the house correctly based on the most comparable sales, and also factoring in how much inventory there currently is in the given area and what the market activity, days on market, and really supply and demand are like in the area of question at the point in time that you go to the market. In fact is, the very best listing agents in your market will be able to help you do these 4 things extremely well. And if you're looking to sell your home in the near future, I've got great news for you. Through the network I'm a part of at my brokerage, I can connect you to a top-notch vetted listing agent in your market, and that's regardless of where your property is located. I can make that connection for you. So if you'd like me to connect you with the best listing agent for the job in your marketplace, check out the link in the description to schedule a brief call with me, and I'll make that introduction for you. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button so that I may share more with you in the future. That being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next video.